What's up, what's up, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Spirit. Welcome back to Spirited Culture. I am so glad to be here, as I always am, because it takes a lot of time for me to set aside, create content and videos for you all. And before I start this video, I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who sends me love on Spirited Culture and on Spirit Loves LOCS, because y'all help me remember my why. And I know that I started this YouTube and these Instagrams because I wanted people to not feel alone on their spiritual journey. I didn't want people to feel alone when caring for their hair. And so I just gotta say thank y'all. Thank you for helping me to remember why I'm doing this, to stay motivated, to keep pumping out content whenever I can, and to make sure I make time to give back to the community that we have together. Okay, so now that I'm done being sentimental and emotional about y'all, I love you. Send me a what's up, send me a like, send me a subscription. You know how to do it. I want to get into today's video, which is about our fears. We all got them, okay? And the thing is that fear can keep us from becoming who we want to be, from doing what we want to do, and taking the risk and making the moves that we want to make in this world to become who we envision ourselves to be. So I want to give us a little bit of help on working with our fears and moving through them. But before we get started, you already know, mantra time. Today's mantra will be, I will have the courage to do what I want. Let's take a deep breath. I will have the courage to do what I want. I hope that after this video, you feel a little bit more confident in taking a risk and making a move even while you're afraid. All right, so first things first, let's talk about what is fear. For me, fear is not knowing what could happen next. And so when we are in point A and we want to get to point B, but we like, ugh, I ain't really sure how point B is going to turn out or what's going to happen, it creates a fear in us. Now, I think that there are two types of fears. Number one, we have our rational fears. This is when our brain literally perceives danger, okay? Let's think about rational fears. Crossing the street on a busy highway where there's a lot of cars coming, you should be scared to cross the street and you probably should go to the crosswalk. Skydiving. Okay, I understand why you're afraid of skydiving, because if anything goes wrong on that jump out the plane, it's splat, you done. You should be afraid of that. Fire. Yes, let's be afraid of fire. It can burn you alive. It could give you wounds. Yeah, we should be afraid of fire. So that is a rational fear that your brain has. It puts it in fight or flight mode. Someone want to fight you. Yeah, you might be a little scared, okay? You don't want no black eye. You don't want no broken nose. I get it. Those are fears that are rational. We should have them. It's intelligent that our brain can tell us when we are in real life danger. On the other hand, there are also irrational fears. And these are the fears that keep us from doing and being and saying what we want and doing what we want to do. So, what's the difference? An irrational fear is not really dangerous. It's not really something that is going to harm you or make you feel unsafe. It is just a mental fear. And so let's talk about what are some examples of an irrational fear. Singing in the talent show. You might be like, ooh, I'm too scared to do that. Now, singing in the talent show ain't gonna kill you, but it makes your brain tense up as if it's in fight or flight or survival mode. What else could be an irrational fear? Asking for a promotion. That could make you feel like, oh, I'm too afraid. I know that I work so hard and I do so good, but I'm just too afraid to ask for something that I want. Again, asking for a promotion ain't gonna kill you, ain't gonna leave you with no wounds or no scars, but it is a fear that we have. And so this video today is dedicated to working with our irrational fears so that we can do these things that we feel that we want to do and that we feel called to do, and not being afraid to do so. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all about me, and one of my biggest fears in the world was when I was in corporate America, okay? I was sad. And I think if you know me, I've told you this before, and It was a safe life. I was making good money, but something in me was just sad and I didn't want to be doing it. And I was very afraid to walk away from something which I was so comfortable with. And I had to make a little diagram, which I want to share with you now. So we've all heard the phrase that outside of your comfort zone is where the magic is. So I made a Venn diagram of myself, me in corporate America, and outside of corporate America was everything that I wanted. There's the magic of my life. There's me working in fashion, me working in spirituality, freedom, very important. And also, I just wanted Tuesdays and Thursdays off when I wanted them. So just having a midweek day off, I cannot get any of these things while being inside of corporate America. Maybe you need to draw a little diagram for yourself about what can I get if I work outside of this sphere. And so when I saw this diagram, it really convinced me like, okay, I'm super duper afraid, but I want these things that I want, so I am gonna have to do something to help get me to where I wanna be. Working with your fears is really about becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. No, we do not know what lies on the other side of that action, but we have to have faith and trust in the unknown, and in that when we are following our heart and following our desires, something that we want might just show up. So I have come up with 6 different ways for us to work with our fears, to move with them, and for us to take an action even when we are shaking in our boots and cowering. Okay, let's get it. Number 1, question your fears. When you feel anxious or fearful about something, sit there and ask yourself, what am I really, really afraid of? That is going to be the first step, because when you confront your fears, they become a little bit less scary. So let's take an example. Public speaking. What could you be afraid about when it comes to public speaking? Forgetting what you're supposed to be talking about, boring people, or stuttering and embarrassing yourself. What else could you be afraid of? A first date. What could you be afraid of on a first date? Going out with somebody that you really don't like. Entering into another doomed relationship. Having awkward moments in conversation. So when we question our fears, we really get to the root of what's going on within us. Instead of just saying, I'm scared, and not doing anything, you actually look yourself in the mirror and say, well, what am I afraid of? This is the first step to conquering that fear. The second thing that I would recommend that we do is to imagine the worst. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when you think about, okay, let's imagine what would happen. I'm up on that stage, I'm public speaking, and I just go and draw blank. God, feels bad, feels crazy. Or people are acting like they're bored, and I'm just like, ugh, I just want to run off the stage. Or you're on that date and you are full of awkward conversations, and you're like, ugh, you have boogers in your nose and things in your teeth, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. When we imagine the worst that could happen, we kind of face that fear. Okay, now what? Yeah, I'm up on the stage and I forgot everything. What am I gonna say? Sorry y'all, I forgot. Let me get myself back on track and look at my notes. Or on that date and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna try to stick it out to dessert, or I'm just not having a good time and I'm gonna leave. When we imagine the worst thing that could happen, we give ourselves the tools to be able to move through it. Now I feel a little bit more prepared to go into that thing, because you know what? I know what could happen. I could be rejected. I can be embarrassed. I can have these things happen, and I have already thought about what's the next move I'm gonna make if that does happen. Number 3, the next thing that I love to do is imagine the best. Imagine what would happen if you get on that stage and you rock that shit, and people are clapping and cheering, and you are cohesive and clear about what you want to say. Feel the feelings of success that just rush through you. Or imagine you go on a great date with somebody and you love the conversation, and they are interesting and they are interested in you and getting to know you, and the food is good and the vibe is right, and you have an awesome first date and you can't wait for the next one. That shit feels good. Imagining the best scenario also gives us motivation and courage to keep going and taking that action. Like, okay, now I ain't gonna get these good feelings if I don't do the action. So you know what? I just might go ahead and do it because I'm trying to feel what I imagined myself feeling. The next thing that I would say to help us move through our fears is remember that people are people no different than you. I think sometimes when we are in the spotlight or in a one-on-one situation, we sometimes put other people on a pedestal and put their judgments on a pedestal. These is regular ass folks, okay? You work with people every day. You walk by people every day. You see people in the grocery store. These are regular old people. There is no need to allow the fear of their judgments or how they're going to think about you to keep you from doing what you want to do. If you know that you got up on that stage with good intentions to push yourself, to challenge yourself, to see what you are made of and capable of, then that's all that goddamn matter, okay? And if you are scared of other people's judgments, then you make sure to be less judgmental when you are the one who is in the audience. Make sure to be less judgmental of other people, and therefore you will recognize that other people's judgments don't matter, and neither do yours. Your judgments don't matter. Your opinions don't matter. So let's not allow other people to keep us from doing what we want to do. Number 5, redefine your fear and do it while scared. Let's say you went through all these steps and you are still anxious about what you have signed up to do. That's okay. Still do it while you are scared. And the best way to reframe and redefine your fear is to look at your body cues. Are your hands shaking? Instead of saying, oh, I'm so scared. Say, my hand's shaking because they know we about to get up here and rock it. We about to get up here and kill it. Or maybe your stomach has butterflies in it. You're like, oh my God, I'm about to throw up. And you start getting quiet and you start getting nervous. You can reframe those body cues and say, my body is entering a space. Yeah, I have butterflies in my stomach because I know it's time for me to show up and shine. Yeah, I'm getting quiet because I'm preparing myself to do what I need to do. When we reframe those fears, we allow ourselves to be able to say this is excitement versus nervousness. We tell ourselves what our body does. So change your mind about what's going on before you go out there and conquer and do the damn thing, all right? And the 6th and final thing that I have for us to do is to conquer small fears daily. And every single day when you do something that gives you a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of nervousness, you kind of build up your repertoire or arsenal of, I can handle it. I used to be like afraid to call guys on the phone, and I used to just make myself pick up the phone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. And I would be having good ass conversation. It's like, girl, what you afraid of? You think somebody gonna be like, why are you calling me? So guess what? When you conquer small fears every day, you get yourself in the habit of moving while afraid, and that will only lead to you doing bigger things, because you'll realize in the end that the fear is nothing but a signpost to point you in the direction to where you need to be. You guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you want a little bit of one-on-one with your girl to help work through your fears or anything else that you're going with, make sure to head over to my Spirited Culture Instagram, where you can book a private session with me. All first sessions are complimentary. And I'll also put my website in the description box. I can't wait to talk to you. I'm so glad to be here with you again.